Hello everyone, Namaste. Welcome to first class and edition of Bandhas. Yes, Bandhas are essentially used to transcend or pass through what are energy locks or psychic locks that are in the body. These are called granties. There's three of them. The first one is the Brahma Granti, which blocks the Moola and Swadhisthana chakras. And so the root chakra here at the bottom and also the sacral. So these chakras, one of the things that the Bandhas will do is go after that and transcend it so that the primal energy or kundalini can rise above the chakras and get to the spiritual areas of the upper body. This avoids attractions and personality. Now the second knot is the Vishnu Grati, and this one is associated with the Manipura and Anahata chakras. It is related directly to digestion and metabolism, and also to energy. And now this one, once it's translated, one is no longer bound by physical, mental, and emotional attachments, which is quite good. Now the third knot is Rudra Granti. This is the Vishuddhi and Ajna chakra, so the throat and the third eye. This is the higher mental body of transformation or idea or concept. When it's pierced, personality goes to one side, ego disappears, and it's replaced with unmanifest consciousness, which is beyond the phenomenal universe and emerges as such the Ajna and Sahasrara chakras. So you go up a level by eliminating this knot. Now the four bandhas are, first one is a throat lock. The next one is a Moola or perineum contraction. That's the area, let's be adults about it, just between the reproductive organs and the anus. Okay, so that little point in the middle, there's a muscle. So between for the man, the testes, the woman, the cervix, and the anus, there's this point, and that's what we're going to be looking at for contraction. It's an internal process. It's not something you can see. You have to really have some awareness in your body to be able to go there, but it's part of this practice in unblocking the grantis so your chakras can free flow of energy. The Uddiyana is the next bandha, and this one's an abdominal contraction. So it relates to the stomach, and then the ultimate of the four is the Maha. The Maha Bandha is a combination of the three that I just previously mentioned. So it's the throat, the perineum or cervix, and the abdominal, all together in one sequence. And this is really considered to be the ideal state of which you should be practicing. So now we'll start with the Jalahandra Bandha, the throat lock. This one, we're going to inhale slowly and retain the breath. The idea is here, you're bending your chin down, locking your arms, shoulders hunching, and then this pressure here on the neck, compresses the carotid sinuses. And what does that do? Well, it reduces the need for the heart to start pounding rapidly when there's more carbon dioxide, i.e., when you're retaining your breath, there's more carbon dioxide. So it's a way to effectively get your body to tolerate the retention of breath for a longer period of time. Useful for meditation purposes, It's exactly what it's for. This Bandha relieves anxiety and stress. It develops meditative, introversion, and one-pointedness. Also, there's an added final benefit. It stimulates on the throat, balancing the thyroid and the metabolism. So we've got a lot of things going on with this one. We'll go over to the mat. Let's work on this one first, and then we'll come back to the Moola Bandha. So I'm just going to go sit over here on the mat. I recommend for this particular posture, or for this Bandha, the auspicious pose. You can do other things like the lotus or the Siddha. But I like this one because your knees are a little bit further apart and it lends itself to straightening the arms, in my opinion. So, anyway, you have to choose a comfortable posture for yourself. And again, this one, just to review, first your chin drops. You inhale as much as you can. Let the chin drop a little further. Closing the eyes. Straighten the arms. Hunch the back and the shoulders. And this creates a pressure coming down here on the thorax. And effectively a lock. And once you're there, you retain as long as you comfortably can. Just remember, lift your head first, then bend your elbows to come out of it, and then breathe. In that order, so as you come out of it correctly. And then just do a couple inhales and exhales, or if you want, you can go right back into it on the next breath. After the exhale, deep exhale, make an inhale, and then lock again. But if you're just starting out with this, don't force it, that you have to go every breath into the lock. Take a couple breaths in between, get accustomed to it, so that you feel comfortable closing all this area of the throat. So, again, close your eyes, relax, shoulders relaxed, head relaxed. Taking a deep, deep belly breath through the nose. Let the chin fall forward. Then get it down, touching the chest. Difficult to talk here. And then, as your breath is held, lock the arms. This pushes the chin in further. Then hunch the shoulders. And that's the final lock. Stay here for some breaths, or some seconds rather, counting. And when you're comfortable, bend the arms. Lift the head and gently inhale. So that was one round. So just repeat this. Now, what we're going to do, the next step, is integrate the Moola Bandha, which is the one with the perineum. Now this one is a little bit more difficult to make a teaching of her because it's not a muscle that you can physically see or do much demonstration. You can only really describe it. So let me just make sure I have the best way to saying this here. You have to first sit comfortably in your favorite yoga posture. If it was a gracious pose like that, perfect. What a lot of yogis recommend for this one is to adapt the Siddha or the Siddha Yoni posture, where you have the heel pressing pressure directly under the perineum. Now this is a possibility, and if you can sit in that posture, well then do it. The other option is, in my case, I sort of made an invention, so I'm going to share this. I have a yoga brick. I like to take the gracious pose, and this, believe it or not, is the hole from a massage bed. Yes. Okay. So I make almost like a little bicycle seat with the yoga brick, and you get the pressure there, the same as if your heel was there. So it's just an adaptation. There's always a yogic solution for getting the right posture, alignment, and other things that we want to be to take the most effective way of getting out of our practice the time we're spending. So that's just an adaptation. I invented a share, and there you go. So now the thing with this is you'll be contracting this region by pulling up on the muscles of the pelvic floor and then relaxing them. Now, a lot of times when you're first starting out with this, you'll find yourself moving more the muscles in front and behind, the reproductive or urinary muscles, or the anus, the one behind. So, but the idea is when you get the hang of getting this muscle to come up with a contraction of the pelvic floor and then release, is to not use anything else, just that little point. So, you know, it takes a bit of, shall we say, practice, repetition, and patience. If you don't get it the first couple practice rounds, don't stress. Just keep going as best as you can. With the Moola Bandha, you want to make during the retention, when you have a lock, the Jalahandra, for example, this one corresponds well with that. We'll do it in a moment. So you do the throat lock, and then at that exact point, you then begin doing these contractions with the perineal muscle, and you go as long as you can with the two locks at the same time. This is the idea. This is why it takes a bit of practice. Some people take months really getting this done, so be extremely patient. Once you do 10 times, that's more than enough, or considered to be enough. You can also do this with the retention on the exterior breath. To say, we just did the inhale, you could do the Moola Bandha and the throat lock after you exhale as well. So, something to keep in mind as you get a little bit more comfortable and practice with this. Now, the Moola Bandha stimulates the pelvic nerves, tones up the urogenital and the entire excretory system, helps against diseases, relieves depression, and promotes just generally good health. The regions of the body, well, it's good for spiritual awakening. It has benefits for the mental, physical, and psychic. It's also interesting, they mention in yogic teachings that this is very good for sublimation of sexual energy, meaning you can control your sexual energy with this, these contractions, and therefore be more celibate. Now, there's also the other side of it, where you can actually see the benefits for your relationships with your other partner or couple. So, you can make the choice. Do you direct your sexual energy to spiritual, or do you direct it towards being with your other half? So, all things apart from that, let's go over to the mat again, and we'll just discuss the best we can the combination of these two bandhas. Yeah. So here we are. I got my special seat adaptation made. So this is just to get the pressure there. You could also use possibly a rolled towel or a blanket or even a yoga bolster. You just have to look at it. If you can get pressure touching directly at the perineum, all the better. And that way you can find the spot and really feel when the muscle is getting contracted. So it's not something that can be physically demonstrated. It just has to be really well explained. So again, we go into throat lock, Jalahandra, and so you're just letting down, deep belly in, inhale, you lock, your arms, shoulders, and then when you're there, you have to focus mentally. It's best to have your eyes closed, obviously, but you really have to mentally focus that area just at the very base of the spine, pulling up with the pelvic floor, and then releasing. So it takes a little bit of time. Like I said, you'll probably find yourself moving all the muscles down there at once, or just one side and the other. Be patient and just practice. So we'll just do one time together here, just to have the sequence, And so again, a deep belly breath, inhale, looking down, chin. Now straightening the arms, chin goes further down, shoulders are up, really lock it. And now squeezing that pelvic floor, focus on the point there, and just make successive contractions the whole time that you are retaining the breath. And now, bend the elbows, gently lift the head, shoulders down, and exhale, and inhale. So, that was it. We've covered the basics here today for the two bandhas, the Jalahandra and the Moola bandha, which again, throat and perineal contractions and lock. So, I hope that's been an insightful beginning, and we'll be having future classes in the near future. So thank you for joining. Namaste, and have a great day.